Have you ever felt led to act fast and later realized it was fear and not God? If you ever obeyed a voice that later left you feeling empty, stick with me. Because today we're going to set your fear down and meet the real voice of peace. There was a time when I thought that silence was obedience. I thought the voice saying, "Stay silent, be quiet, don't share that. They won't understand." I thought that that voice was wisdom. I thought that voice was God. But it wasn't. It was fear. And that fear I did confuse for God. And I know that this is not an experience that is solely to myself. Over and over, I speak to different people who encounter this all the time. Fear masked as the voice of God. You see, when you've been, let's say, dismissed, spiritually mocked, or shamed for being too sensitive, too deep, too different, you start to think that the safest thing to do is to shrink your voice. And the voice that tells you to shrink can sound so calm, so rational, so wise. You believe that it's divine. But here's what I've learned. The voice of fear will say, "Don't speak, you're too much." The voice of God will say, "Breathe, I'll give you the words." One carries panic, even when it's quiet. The other carries calm and peace, even when it's firm. And that's how I began to tell the difference, not by simply words alone, but literally by the tone. There are 3 keys to telling the difference between God's voice and fear. Where fear pushes, God invites. Fear says, "Hurry or you'll miss it," right? God says, "Be still. I will not pass you by." Listen, any voice that carries anxiety and urgency without peace is simply not the voice of Most High. Key number 2, fear shames. Fear always shames you, but the voice of God, it will convict you with love. Okay, you can feel the difference with a voice or a sound that is shaming and one that is convicting. Yes, convicting, telling you that you may have made an error that you need to adjust, but it's coming with love, not shame, but love. So fear would say something like, "You're failing again," while God says, "This way, come back to me," right? This is the path. Come back, just adjust, just realign, right here, move over a little bit more. But fear will always point out and loudly let you know that you are failing and that you are a failure. And the voice of Most High always just wants you to realign, to readjust, to try again. So keep that in mind. The voice of God does not put you down. It will instruct you as to how you can realign. The voice of God will never call you a failure. It will show you how to adjust for success. So if the voice leads you into hiding, it's fear. But if it leads you into healing, it's Most High. It's definitely God. Number 3, key number 3, fear isolates while the Spirit or the voice of Most High restores. Fear will say something like, "No one understands you. You better keep that to yourself," causing you to isolate, causing you to separate, causing you to feel alone in this world. While the voice of Most High says, You are not alone. Let me show you the ones who can walk with you. So while fear wants you to separate and to isolate, the voice of Most High wants to lead you to your flock, the others in this world who are like you, the others who understand. So the voice of Most High, yes, there can be times of separation. There can be times of separation when Most High wants to pour into you, wants to help you work out something that you're struggling with, but not to isolate you, to separate you, to cause you to break all ties and cut all strings of love. Yes, you may have to cut some strings, but usually, most definitely, those strings that you're going to be cutting are from people who are harmful to you and really, really harmful. Okay? We have to be very careful that because of our own trauma, that we're not mistaking the voice of trauma as the voice of God and isolating ourselves from people because we don't want to stay and go through the process of healing, which usually entails being right there in the situation and coming to resolution. Sometimes it's talking through things, sometimes it's being able to speak, about whatever it is that is, that has bothered you or that has caused conflict. And remember, the voice of God is always pointing you towards restoration, right? Not hiding. Restoration, healing, okay? Not hiding, not isolation. There's a difference between taking a step aside from things in order to go deeper in your walk or to deal with some shadow stuff, let's say. That's very different from isolating because a voice is telling you that no one understands you. You're alone in this world. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a very big difference. And so it's really important that we understand that, because a lot of times on this spiritual journey, we take these little breaks, right? These little sabbaticals. We take time off of social media. We take time off of our phone, off of screens, all this type of stuff. We go into prayer and fasting. Yes, that is a form of separation. You may be isolated, but just for that time. And it's definitely not because there is a voice saying to you, nobody understands you, nobody loves you, you're alone in this world. That is not the voice of God. Okay, that is not the voice of God. That is a different voice. And it's not the voice of God. So you have to really make sure that you understand that, fear wants you to be separate. Fear wants you to be isolated. Fear wants you to feel alone in this world. Okay, and God wants to heal. The voice of God wants to restore you. And if ever you are called into a time of separation, it is because the voice of God will continue. The Spirit of Most High will restore you during that time, but not under the understanding that you are alone in the world and no one is like you and no one understands you and no one loves you. No. So make sure you clearly see the difference, okay, between fear leading you to isolation and the voice of Most High leading you to restoration. Discernment starts when we ask, does this voice lead me deeper into love or deeper into hiding? That's the key right there. Are you being led deeper into love or deeper into hiding, deeper into isolation, deeper into restoration, deeper into healing, deeper into love, right? What are you being led deeper into? The voice of God always leads you into healing, into restoration, into deeper love. I'm not just teaching this because it sounds good. I'm teaching this because it almost costed me my own voice. I almost believed that fear was divine. I almost stayed quiet when the world needed to hear my voice, my song. If you've ever wrestled with a voice that sounds spiritual, but it feels wrong, I want you to know that you are not alone. Stay with me through this series, because by the end of it, you won't just hear the truth, you'll feel what it sounds like. And once you do, you will never, ever follow fear again. So this is how you know The real voice does not demand your silence. Instead, it prepares you to speak with love. Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope that what you have heard here has been beneficial to you. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and for sharing this video. Please do if you've learned something from it. And I want to remind you that if you would like to connect with me, you can do that by visiting iamabama.com. You can book sessions, you can get everything you want to get concerning me, retreats, books, whatever the case may be. You can find the link for that in the description below, iamabama.com. See you there. Bye-bye. Remember, it is my joy to help you manifest your dream life and highest self. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.